What is going on, my beautiful people? Welcome to yet another episode of the Pivot Mindset Podcast. I'm happy that you're hanging out with your boy. I'm your host. My name is Justin. And kick back, relax, maybe, because we're going to dive right in today. But before we do that, I want to just do some quick housekeeping. First, I want to thank you all for checking out us yet again on another episode. Please leave this episode a rating and review. We appreciate all of the support, all of the love, any way that you can share our messaging out there, any way that you can provide a rating, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, all of it helps. It's all important to helping us be more successful, to helping us with the algorithm. We're really looking to build a community here, and it cannot happen without your support. So I want to first say thank you for being supportive and being loyal listeners, and please share it. Just let people know that what you're listening to. Everybody's interested in what podcast you're listening to, so please do not forget to put the Pivot Mindset Podcast in that list of yours. So, man, let's jump right in. I want to talk about something that the great philosopher himself, Mr. Jay-Z, said. He's got a song, and he said, "Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hove." And it got me thinking, how many of us have reintroduced ourselves lately? And so on this podcast, this episode, I'm going to allow you to reintroduce yourself. I'm going to allow you in this next 20, 25, 30 minutes that we're going to spend together to reintroduce yourself, to re-announce who you are to the world, because you are not often who you currently are. So aren't you tired of the same old you? The one who has yet to produce the kind of life that you know you've always been capable of producing? Like the one who cannot find fulfillment in anything, no matter how you try to doctor it up. Aren't you tired of being the same old you? Don't you believe that this could be a new chance or a new time or a new opportunity to reintroduce yourself? Why haven't you reintroduced yourself yet? Your environment determines the beliefs that get defaulted in your brain. If you never challenge those beliefs, you live life through the default programming, and you are not really you. I'm gonna repeat that again because I was taking some notes because I was watching the video, and this topic and this information started to kind of hit me. And so your environment, the way that you grew up, how you grew up, the schools that you went to, the city that you lived in, the part of the country that you grew up in, your upbringing, if you had both of your parents or not, your race, your class, your background, your skin color, all of these things determined the beliefs that became defaulted in your brain. If you never challenge those beliefs, you live life through this default programming. It's almost like when you buy something and you just use the settings that it has when it come out of the box, when you can customize them. A lot of us are just the settings that we didn't even program. A lot of us are living a life based on the settings that other people set for us. And if you do not challenge those settings to confirm what is you and what is not you, you aren't really you. You aren't the real, authentic, right version of you. You may look like the real you, but when it comes to who you are at its core, you are not the real you. You are only you when you challenge your default programming. When you challenge it, you will learn more about yourself and become the person that you are meant to be. Every person on this earth, I have no doubt in my mind that every single person on this earth has untapped potential. You have thousands of years of human evolution locked in your brain. You have thousands of years of life and how we are molded and how our brain was created. And through creation, you have thousands of years of this evolution locked in your brain. And when you get out of your comfort zone and try something new, you begin to build new neural pathways in your brain. If any of you have done this and done some of these exercises before, like for example, you could brush your teeth. I always brush my teeth with my right hand. But if you start brushing your teeth with your left hand, you'll begin to build new neural pathways in your brain to help connect and open up other aspects of your thinking, your mind that you weren't aware of. have many of you noticed that you put your pants on, probably putting the same leg in your pants at the same time? Or you probably put your shirt on the same way, or you probably drive to work at the same way every single day. But when you do something different, you begin to build these new neural pathways that unlock potential and unlock who you really are. And they unlock other aspects of you that you may not have been aware of. And so you can become a higher version of yourself. You can become more optimal, refined version of who you are today. And if you want to create a life that's completely different, you already have the seeds that's in you to create that life. There's nothing in you. There's nothing outside of you that you need to create the kind of life that you want. Because the kind of life that you want, the only reason why you have that thought, the only reason why you have that feeling in your gut to be that is because that person is already in you. It's already seed. It's already deposited on the inside of you. But what is not often deposited on the inside of us is that ability to challenge our default programming. And so we just live this life like straight out of the box and not custom and not truly unique and authentic to our truest version and who we really are. And so what I'm asking you to do in this episode is reintroduce yourself. Can you start to think of ways that, man, maybe I haven't been showing up as my best self. Maybe like I'm not truly fulfilled in my life. I'm tired of looking at other people live their best lives and see other people climb mountains and go and soar and do things in their lives that they've never done. I want to have that same story and testimony too. I want to be able to say, man, I built a life that I never thought I was able and capable of. So could it be the person you are right now is not based on you being intentional about discovering what's all inside of you? Life for you could have been on autopilot. So many of our lives are on autopilot. So if you actually live life intentionally, you are the rare one. Most people are sheep. Most people live life on autopilot, just doing what they've always been told to do, doing based on how they've always thought. They just live life on autopilot. And you are simply a byproduct of the beliefs that have always been defaulted in your brain. That's it. Whatever byproduct has been defaulted in your brain, or whatever thing has been defaulted in your brain, you become the byproduct of that if you do not be intentional about creating the life that you want. And so it is an absolute crime to wake up every single day and not know why you are alive. It's okay right now to know, like to not know what your purpose. It's okay while you're listening to this episode to not know your purpose and why you were placed on earth. But it is not okay to wake up every single day and not being in the pursuit of what your purpose is. It is not okay to wake up and not know why you're here and just go to work, do what you've always done, hang out with the same friends, go to the same coffee shop, go and shop at the same places. It is not okay for you to not know your purpose and be happy in life and just think that it's going to be roses and Capricorns and cappuccinos and unicorns, right? Like that's not what life is. It is not okay if that's who you are. You have to identify your purpose. Your purpose is the unique reason why you were placed on earth. And when you get clarity on what your purpose is, you will begin to find a level of fulfillment that you never knew was possible. And one of the scariest things for us on earth is that we're powerful beyond measure. And so you don't often, unless you get real intentional about this, we often do not know what's really on the inside of us. We don't know what's really deposited on inside of us. And so everybody is relying on you. Your children, they're relying on you. Someone doesn't do something different, nothing in your family will be different. Like when is somebody going to finally start to make the decision that the buck stops here, that I am going to be the curse breaker, that I'm going to change this generation, that I'm going to change the trajectory of my family tree, that I'm going to say that none of us are going to continue to live a life unfulfilled, unpurposeful, unintentional, but we're going to wake up every single day by design, that we're going to be powerful beyond measure, and that we're going to build the kind of life that we're nowhere capable of. People are going to stop telling me who I am, and I'm going to start reintroducing myself to this world and letting this world know who I really am. Are you ready to reintroduce yourself yet? I'm coming with you with like a little bit of a different energy, because I think for some people, they just need this shake. So I believe some people just need somebody to shake and jolt them and getting conscious thought into, are you really living your purpose? Are you really being authentically you? Or everything you've known life to be, has that been something that has been passed down to you? Has that been a default setting or default programming that you have taken on as your own? And the best thing, if you're listening to this episode, the best thing about life is that we get the chance every single day to change it. There's nobody that can change your life but you. You have to be able to make the conscious decision that I'm going to make the pivot in life that I need to make to be a better person, to show up better for myself, to show up better for my family. But it starts with you being 100% authentically you, being in your purpose. And again, when I say authentically you, I don't want to pervert that saying to be like whatever you think and whatever you feel is what you should be. No, when I say authentically you, that is understanding unique and how unique and distinct that you were placed on earth for. I believe that God placed each and every one of us on this earth for a purpose, for a real reason. And it is up to us to really maximize who we are, to truly be on the fray and get out of our comfort zone and get out of what we're used to and get out of what we've always known, to really see what we're capable of. There is this, there's a book, and I may have mentioned it in a previous episode, but there's a book called who's the author of it? There's a book by David Goggins, and I believe the book title is called Stay Hard or something like that. And the title of the book, so throughout the book, he's talking about his whole life. And his life was very traumatic, very challenging, had a really crazy background, grew up, did abuse, seen his mother get beat on, seen poverty. Like, he's seen some pretty bad things. But throughout the book, he talks about this controller that we have on our minds. And this controller is like your car has it too. So your car has this thing that a lot of people call like the nanny, or there's a few different terms for this particular device. But essentially what it does is it's called the governor. So your car and most automobiles, motorcycles, all of them have what's called the governor. And what the goal of the governor is to do is to hold the true capacity and the limits of that vehicle back so you keep yourself safe. So when the governor is working well, it's keeping everything working within the manufacturer's intention. It doesn't mean that it's operating at its truest capacity and it's pushing beyond limits. It's just making sure. So for example, your car could have 120 mile an hour on the dash, and that may be the maximum that the governor allows your car to go, when really your car could probably go 150, 160 miles an hour. But there is a computer chip, there is technology that's holding your car back from really being as fast as it really could be. And how many of us have this governor? How many of us have this thing in our lives that's really holding us back? And often the governor is who we've grown up with. The governor is our upbringing. It's the people that are around us. It's the limited thinking that's, going on in the circles that we participate and operate in. We've got all of these limiting things that try to keep us in the box or keep us held back and not being the full, authentic version of who we were really created to be. And so in this episode, I'm giving you the permission to reintroduce yourself. There is no more perfect time to reintroduce yourself than now. And so with that said, that's all I have for you today. Is I want to allow you in this episode today, as you're listening to this, to reintroduce yourself. What are things that are not of you anymore? What are the things that in life that you started to identify with that aren't just you? You've evolved from that. You no longer do that. You no longer even have a preference to do those kind of things or to go those kinds of places or have those kind of taste in men or women. You are different and you've evolved. And I'm giving you the space to reintroduce yourself to the world. And that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you for checking out yet again another episode of the Pivot Mindset Podcast. If you're enjoying this episode, please connect with me. You can find my socials on Instagram at _Justin Carter. Same thing on Facebook, Justin Carter, or on YouTube as well. And again, here we believe that life is all about the pivots, and those who decide to make the pivots decide to become successful. Peace.